Is it true that only a fifth of the Jewish nation left Mitzrayim during yetzias Mitzrayim?
That's what Rashi says. Is it true? That's what Rashi says. How am I entitled to an opinion when Rashi says the Chamushim Olu B'nei Yisrael Me'eretz Mitzrayim? There's a number of interpretations, and one of them means that 1/5, 20% of the Jewish people left Egypt. It's very, very disturbing. It's very, very unnerving. And you know, Mistamed, that it says in Sforim that when you say to the Rasha, the Ben Rasha by the Seder, Ilu Hoya Sham Loi Hoya Nigal, what you're telling him is that if you had been in Mitzrayim, you would have been part of the 80% that didn't leave. But when Mashiach comes, no Jew will be left behind. You're going to come out of Golos, and if you're going to come out of Golos, you're not just going to buy a geographically come out of Golos, you're going to become Ois Rasha. You asked me a question which doesn't really take any time to answer, so I'll share with you a Chassidish word, which is also very poignant, very powerful. There was a very, very great tzaddik whose name was Abadale Belzer, Abadale Keach of Belz, the holy Belzer Rebbe, who the Rebbe spoke about with such reverence, with such adulation. The Belzer Rav survived the Holocaust and came to Eretz Yisrael in the beginning of 1954. Yes, Shvat. Taf Shin Daled Tadash. He was in hiding in Hungary. He was living in Galicia originally. When the war started, he came to Hungary. Hungary was occupied by the Nazis only in 1944. And after the Nazis occupied Hungary, the Belzer Rav left. I think that's what it was. After the Nazis, when the Hungarians changed sides, and the Nazis occupied Hungary, the Belzer Rav, and the Nazis were looking for him. And he had to cross, he went through Turkey and he came to Israel. Turkey, Syria, Israel. So I heard from somebody that his first Shabbos in Israel was Yerushalayim. He was an incredibly great tzaddik. He was a ish ruch, ish leki. There was nothing worldly about him. He was a giant. So that first Shabbos, when he arrived in Eretz Yisrael, he said a Torah. Kederach Sidi Rabbi did a tzaddikim from Paltiel. He had a short little Torah. What was the Torah that he said? That now you have to sing Shira. As Yashabej of Israel. How could you sing Shira? 6 million Jews were killed. At that time, it was 6 million Jews being killed. So he said, this is the lesson you learn from Kriyas Yamsuf. The Jewish people came out of Mitzrayim, and 8 out of 10 were left behind. 4 out of 5 were left behind. And they came to the Yamsuf, and they survived, and the 20% they survived sank. So the Belzer Rav made the point that when you go through incredible hardships and you survive, demo zinkment, that's when you sing. In other words, he explained that the singing of a Yossi was not this free, overflowing expression of uncontained joy. It was incredibly bittersweet, because the Yidden lost so much. But now you sing. And you sing as a thanksgiving to the Eibishter for your survival. And you sing as an esinas koyach for the life that you're going to have going forward. Right? The Jewish people are amazing survivors, as we've proven in the last century. And the reason we survive is because we don't look back, because we look forward, because we sing. We sing. You come out of a Holocaust and you sing. And this is a very unusual spin on Oz Yosher, from a very, very famous tzaddik who not only said the Vort, but he said the Shira after he himself survived the Nazis. The Rebbe also discusses this, and he actually brings opinions that it was not 20% that went out, but 2% or 0.5%. In other words, many, many Yidden died. And the Rebbe says that the lesson has to be that if you survived, you shouldn't see yourself as a survivor, one out of many. You should see yourself as the future. And whatever you are, you make yourself responsible for the future and you move forward. In other words, you stop looking at yourself as a percentage and you start seeing yourself as the whole thing. And this allows you to proceed and to go forward and to go into Yisrael and build a Beis HaMikdash and stuff to bring Mashiach Tzidkein.